Hey Shoo Doodlers, it's Father's Day is coming up when I'm doing this, and so I'm going to show you how to do a Super Dad card. This is kind of based around my book Super Dad, which you click here, you can hear the story. I'll read it to you here on YouTube. So what we want to do is we want to start with this kind of say, sort of oval shape for the face, and then just come up slightly to one side. This is going to be the hood. And we want some ears on the top, and then what we want is to have this kind of curve coming around like that. Then that's going to be the eyes and the ears, and then we've got a little curve there for the nose. We'll have a moustache underneath it and a smile. Now we want a little knot there and two things. So it's basically he's got a tablecloth and wrapped it around his neck. So this is going to be his shoulders coming out here, and then these are his arms. We're going to have him in a power pose, which is the kind of pose that, you know, all superheroes stand in. So we're going to want the kind of collars, the cuffs, not the collars. The collar's up here, isn't it? So in fact we want to see the collar about like that. And then we're going to want the thumbs going up there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers like that. So we can then bring the body down like that. We'll have the belt round about there, and then we want him standing with his legs apart in power pose mode. And then we'll have trouser legs, pant legs. You may call them pant legs. We call them trousers in Britain. And so what we're drawing here is kind of a triangle for the feet, but they're going to want to kind of curve slightly. So, and then we're going to want to have a cape coming out like that, which is going to come there. Now I'm going to draw in the chin like that, and then go slightly around to one side like that. Then this can come up to there. This is a very dodgy kind of mask that he's made out of some old cloth that he's found. We've got some little ears sort of stitched on there badly, and we can maybe have some eyebrows stitched on the top, and then we want a nose, and then he has a moustache. You don't have to have a moustache if you don't want. And a big smile. And then what we want is, I think, yeah, I'm going to move this up slightly. So we want this little, that's kind of the knot, and then we want these kind of leaves, but they're kind of the bits where he's tied it. And then let's bring that out like that, and that out like that, so that we can then draw that kind of, giving it a kind of a thickness to the material. And then we can bring his shirt around like that. Now here at the elbows, draw a little kind of wiggle like that. Same on the other side, down, across, up, little wiggle inside. And we're going to want little kind of, they look like bee wings or fly wings or something in the armpits. Draw the cuffs. I want a thumb, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thumb, 1, 2, 3, 4. A line across, that's going to be the belt, and then a little square inside, that'll be his belt. And then we can bring the sides down like that, 2 little bits like that, that'll be his kind of shirt sticking down there. With some buttons. Now when we draw the trouser legs, draw a little kind of wiggle down there as well, just to make it look like it's material. And the same this side, a little wiggle. Try and make these legs, this is the same thickness, otherwise they'll look a bit weird. Then we can finish off the cloak, which is an old tablecloth that he's wrapped around his neck basically. And then curve that down, curl around, and then up. Curve that down, curl around, and then up. Then that's the sole, and that's the heel. Heel, sole, and then wiggle, 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 wiggle for his fasteners on his shoes, whatever they're going to be. And then I think we can have him on a rock. Maybe we could draw some pockets in there. As ever, when you are sure that the ink is dry, then erase those pencil lines, because otherwise you're going to get smudgy marks. And then I am going to put some shading in here, I think. And I'm going to do this all on a kind of a horizontal line level, coming out like that, and behind the armpits there as well, I think. So it's like a big shadow on the back of the cape, which makes his body stand out from the cape. And then I'm going to add some extra little bits, just kind of to give it a bit of texture. And I think we're going to want some kind of movement in this cape as well, so we give it a bit of flowing there. So now I'm going to paint him, and this is a colour called Naples yellow, which I'm going to put on his hands as well. And then I'm going to get a touch of vermilion in there, just to add a bit of kind of life. And then while one area is drying, then you can be painting the next area. So I'm going to paint his shirt blue. Oh, I want that into there as well, because that's the collar, isn't it? Oh, and I just realised that needs to be flesh tone in there as well. And I just realised I'm going to get close to the hands where it's wet already, so the blue might... I don't want the blue to kind of really wash into that where the hands are already. I think I managed that. Now, Super Dad, if you've heard the story, as I say, you know, click up here and you can get the link to read the story, and or to have me tell you the story, I should say. And he's kind of actually Super Dad. He's not that brilliant. Well, he is in his own way. You have to hear the whole story as to how. But he's a pretty kind of normal guy. So he's just got kind of normal brown shoes. I feel his nose should be a little bit more prominent, so I didn't actually put any colour in there, so I'm just going to make that a bit red. And then he's going to have very boring grey trousers, because he's basically come home from work. He's got his boring work clothes on. It's funny, isn't it, how some places now, all these kind of Google and hip kind of places where, you know, you don't have to come in suits and things like that anymore, and you can dress how you like. In the end, everybody ends up dressing pretty much the same, don't they? Now I'm going to make this a check shirt, so I'm going to draw lots of little blue lines. And you can do this with coloured pencils or crayons or however you like, felt tip pens. There's no rules about how you colour in a picture. There's no rules about how you draw it. This is just a guide. You can draw your Super Dad. In fact, why don't you, having drawn your Super Dad, why don't you take a photograph of it and send it to me, and I will make a video once a month of the best ones that I like, and maybe there will be a prize for the winner. I haven't quite decided what yet, but I think probably a how to draw book and maybe a bit of signed artwork. We'll have a little think about that. Where do you send that in? You send that to drawings@shoorayner.com. I'll put the link down below. Yes, it's a new thing I'm doing. I'll probably regret it. And I'm just kind of here adding a little bit of sort of extra something in the pants, trousers. And when I first started doing YouTube, and I suddenly realised people go, what are you talking about? And I realised that, you know, around the world people say things, we all speak English, but we speak it differently. So Americans will say they speak American, and essentially it's all English, but there's so many little things that are different, and I have to kind of keep remembering those. And then he's got dazzling white teeth, so I'm just going to put a little bit of blue, just kind of like a shadow of blue underneath his moustache there, and maybe in his moustache, and then a little shadow of blue just there, and then we just want a lot of red. And this will completely overpower the picture now. And if you're doing this in paint, you might want to kind of mix up enough before you start, so that you know you've got enough paint to do the whole area. Otherwise you might find one area is kind of a different shade of red than another. That's a mistake I usually make. And also, if you're doing watercolour, I would start on one side. Like, I shouldn't have carried on around there. I'd finish one side before you move around onto the other, because you need, with watercolour, to keep the paint flowing. which I'm not doing. Oh, I just went over slightly there, but that really doesn't matter. Just sort of, that makes it an original. And if you believe that, you'll believe anything. I think art is what an artist says it is. So if I say that's what I meant to do, I'm an artist, that's my art, then that's how it is. Doesn't mean you have to like it though. And I know there will be one or two people going, he's gone over the lines. And I have run out of paint. I just had to make some more. There'll be one or two people, he's gone over the lines. Because there are some people who just can't cope with that. But if that's you, I'm very, very sorry. Okay. A bit more in there, and I think I'm going to put a little bit of an extra coat, as it were, under there where the shading is, like that. And then I'm just going to kind of whoosh that out like that. And now I'm going to get some colour called neutral tint. Now this isn't black, this is kind of a bluey, blacky grey, and I'm just going to build up these shadows a bit here. So, like that. I'm just going to let them kind of whoosh into there. So it's just kind of reinforcing those shadows. And I think we need a little bit under there as well. That, and then maybe little bits on the insides of there and under there and under there. See, once you start doing this, you can't stop. That's the problem. And then if I do that, I might be able to just kind of hide that bit where I went over, like that. So now we want to make it into a bit of a card. So we're going to need to work out how this is going to fit. Draw very, very gently. Dead. Now that's kind of fitting about right with an exclamation mark. And I'm going to draw a very, very simple kind of typeface. And it's really, 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 really thin. So it's a kind of very thin bubble writing. So that can come down to about there. Very thin bubble writing. I think that's the hardest bit with writing thing, is to get it so that it spreads evenly. It kind of fits nicely on the page. So you can do that in the pencil work and just spend a lot of time over that, but draw very, very, very gently, remember. So now I want to come around like that and then down a little bit, hook around there like that, and then that's pretty much a circle in the middle. We want the same on this with the D, and then that will go up like that, and pretty much a circle in the middle. And then I'm going to put an exclamation mark in there just to balance the whole kind of thing up. And then I think we need to have some ta-da marks. I know there are probably, I'm sure cartoonists have a proper term for these. I call them ta-da marks. Again, when you're sure the ink is dry, then you can erase those pencil lines and carefully colour in those letters. I know Superman has that kind of particular style of lettering, but do you know, I think when you do that now, it just makes it look old-fashioned, and so I think this is a kind of a more up-to-date kind of typeface. It just makes it look a bit more modern, a bit fresh. And you can do this card for your dad any day you like. It doesn't have to be Father's Day. It doesn't have to be one day in the year. You tell them how much you love them. You can make a little card for them any day you like. And there you go. How to make a Super Dad card. If you'd like to see more of my illustration videos, then subscribe to this channel on YouTube right now. For more insights into my life as an author and illustrator, join me on Patreon. In the meantime, keep drawing, practice, and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye bye. Oh, and send me your drawings.